Newcastle United against Manchester City, two teams who are probably tired of seeing each other this season already met in the league, already played twice in the in the Carabao Cup. Now they face each other in the FA Cup. Dan, City have got the better of Newcastle on multiple occasions, but Newcastle, fresh off beating Manchester United by 2-1, had a man sent off, but still won the game. City, on the other hand, big blow in the title race, drew 2-2 with Nottingham Forest, were pegged back twice. Who has got the momentum heading into this one?
Well, it's interesting, this one, because if we have this chat on, say, Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, we probably all say Manchester City. But with the results taking place later that evening, the momentum has arguably changed back towards Newcastle. You're right in the sense that Newcastle are sick of seeing Manchester City because all they seem to do is lose when they go up against Pep Guardiola's men. But it might be different in the FA Cup because you feel like this is maybe Newcastle's more genuine chance of winning silverware. It might be the most genuine chance of getting back into European football this season. Obviously, the win over Manchester United, a big boost in trying to finish in the top 7, but they've still got some work to do. So maybe they're full of focus in terms of what is the most priority over the next couple of weeks. As tempting as trying to beat Barcelona is, it might be the clash against Manchester City. So it feels like it's more in the balance as we go into Saturday's clash at St James's.
In terms of personnel, as far as the FA Cup is concerned, we've seen teams basically try to rotate a bit. Newcastle got Barcelona in midweek in the Champions League. City have got Real Madrid in the Champions League. Can any of them afford to, if I can use the word, over-rotate for this fixture?
I mean, if you look at Manchester City's depth, they've probably got the greater opportunity to rotate, but it always is with that element of risk, isn't it? And it's risk that pays off if you still get the results that you need. If you then make wholesale changes and you don't, then you can always be lambasted for sort of saying, well, why do you make so many changes? It's almost that double-edged sword. You can't really win until the outcome flushes out. So you'd feel with Man City's additional depth, they have deeper ranks and can get away with more changes. With Newcastle, I guess it's a case of, do you keep the momentum going after last night's win over Manchester United, or do you look to make changes with Barcelona in mind? So it's a difficult decision, really. I think with Newcastle, they'll probably be more likely to keep strong. I mean, when you look at the fixture against Karabag in the second leg, even after beating them 6-1, they could have made 11 changes and still qualified. Eddie Howe went rather strong. I think he only really changed the goalkeeper and one or two outfield players. So I would imagine with the goalkeeper would have been changed against United, with Ramsdale coming in, pretty much what you see on Wednesday is what you'll see at the weekend.
We talked about momentum earlier, and in terms of how the FA Cup, what the FA Cup means to both teams, we do know that Newcastle United, is it a case of a false dawn at Newcastle with some of the results they've picked so far? Because obviously they come into this one with probably the better momentum. But will City still start as overwhelming favourites, despite the fact that Newcastle have done something really remarkable in beating Manchester United, who've been on a roll with basically 10 men, half of the game?
Yes, I think even if you take the blip of Wednesday night out of the equation, I still would price, and many bookmakers will be pricing Man City as favourites, even them being away from home, due to the fact they've beaten Newcastle so many times already this season. So I think it just kind of narrows the margins a bit. I think, as I say, if we had this chat 48 hours ago, we'd be sort of saying, well, it looks like a much easier win for Man City, but I just feel that it's more of a contest now, and that's exactly what we want to see as neutrals.
I personally, when it's my team playing, I do not like to play the same team over and over again in one season. It almost feels like it's a recipe for one shock result. Is that shock result for Newcastle this weekend?
Well, why not? Because A, it's knockout football. Also, you get the feeling that the run has to end at some point. You know, you can't just keep getting beaten over and over again. You know, these are two Premier League teams. You get the feeling that Newcastle will have to get their number at some point. So whether you label it as a shock, I think is probably a little bit of an extension because they are two big clubs anyway. But yeah, you know, why not? Again, it's cup football, everything's to play for. If it was the league, you'd maybe think, well, City will just bounce back and do what they do best. But maybe that little side step on Wednesday has derailed them just that little bit more.
Everyone's talked about Guardiola has always played down throughout this title race, how experienced his City team are chasing down Arsenal. He's always been quick to note that this isn't the same City team. There's no De Bruyne. There's the couple of players who no longer play at City, and this current City team, in terms of going for the big titles, are a little inexperienced. Could that be a factor in this title running, and most especially when it comes to winning trophies, especially the FA Cup for City?
Yes, it could well be. I mean, you look at the contributions of someone like Rodri. I know he scored on Wednesday night, but he's been marginalised through lack of fitness over the last couple of seasons. And you can argue that City haven't quite been the same team since he's been ruled out for such a long time. So you look at the likes of Bernardo Silva, Haaland, maybe not at their very best at the moment. And then the new era of City, Semenyo's been great, but you've got Nico O'Reilly, Ryan Ait-Nouri as well, and Ryan Cherky. There's so many sort of younger crop of City players that need that experience. They need that title to get over the line themselves. They haven't got that one, and that might be their downfall in the coming weeks.
All right, so let's put our betting caps on for this one then. Newcastle against City. What does this one head?
Well, I'm going to go for the draw actually, which doesn't conclude matters because it will then unlock extra time and maybe penalties if we need them. But I just feel that Newcastle will be resilient enough to withstand Man City for 90 minutes, and after that, well, we can just sort of sit back and see which way it goes. But I just feel that Newcastle will fancy their chances even more. Obviously, spurred on by the home win on Wednesday, I just feel that they'll smell blood, if you will, with Man City not taking 3 points against Forest. So yeah, I just feel it'll be an even contest that can't be decided after 90 minutes. So I'm going to go back the draw and see which way it washes out in extra time.
All right, that's a bold one. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thanks, Tolu.